Today I wanted to talk about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Basically, if you don't know, Abraham Maslow, he's a psychologist famous for his hierarchy of needs, which is basically like a pyramid showing you like from your most basic human needs like air, water to like the peak of needs, which is your self-actualization, right? And I was thinking about this because I I realized if you're not making the progress that you want to make in your life, you need to look at your hierarchy of needs. Because the thing is, like, if you're at level one, if your level one isn't complete, you can't move on to level two. You know what I mean? And then if level two is not complete, you can't move on to level three, and so on and so forth, right? So a lot of you guys may be trying to do like level four things when you're not even like at level one. Like you're not your level one's not even complete yet. You know what I mean? And so I wanted to go through the hierarchy of needs with you guys so that you can see like where you're at, what you need to work on, and how you can do this to like achieve your goals basically, right? So I don't want this video to be too long because it could either be like 10 minutes or like an hour, so I'll try to keep it brief. Okay, level one is basically air, water, food, shelter, sleep, clothing, and reproduction. We're going to go one by one. And keep in mind, if you have any one of these that aren't in check, you need to work on that before anything else, right? Let's say you have like a big goal. You need to get this in check before you can even think about your goal. Because your goal is never going to happen if you're like stressed about these very basic things. So air. And I basically what I did was I put this all in a document. I wrote it all down and I went through the list one by one. Like how's the air, how's the water, how's the food, right? So anyway, let's go through it. So air, I have a snake plant, right? And this purifies the air in my room. I'm also getting an air purifier, right? Air literally just means that you're breathing, you know? But I wanted to take it one step further and think about the air quality. Just because the area where I live in, the air quality is really bad. So I thought I would think about the air quality, you know what I mean? So one, think about your air quality. Is your air quality good? If it is, that's great. If not, you should invest in an air purifier, maybe have some house plants, do whatever you need, right? Water. Me personally, I have a water bottle and I drink from it every single day. Only thing is that it's plastic, and the ideal is a stainless steel, copper. Most stainless steel. Don't drink from copper. Copper is good, but not if you're drinking more than like a liter a day, you know? So, and I have a stainless steel water bottle coming in the mail. So, yeah. Water, make sure you have access to clean drinking water, right? This water is reverse osmosis. So I have a reverse osmosis filter where I live at. If you don't have one of those, that reverse osmosis is like the best quality you can get. I recommend you invest in one of those filters. It's like $180, but think about it. $180. How much is one of these bottles that you buy like at the gas station? It's like $3 or $4, right? You have $180 and then you never have to worry about water again, basically. And you replace the filters every 6 months, and that's like what, like $30 every time. I think it's a no-brainer. You should really get a reverse osmosis filter. If not, if there's a spring near you, get some spring water. If you have a water distiller, get some of that. Maybe put some salt, some lime in there. But yeah, definitely invest in your water for sure. That's a no-brainer. Because dude, your body's 70% water, okay? If your water is not even in check, if you're not even drinking clean water, especially if you live in a first world country where like that's accessible to you, and you're not taking advantage of that, it's like, come on, dude. Like, you should really get your water in check. Anyway, food. Me personally, I have a great diet. Diet information, that's too much to go into in this video, but basically, first, do you have access to food? If yes, do you have a good diet? You know, that like, do you have like a healthy diet? That's something you should get in check for sure. Shelter. Obviously, I have shelter. It's around me right now. Do you have a shelter? Do you have a place to sleep at? Basically, right? And if you do have a place to sleep at, is it safe? You know, that's the second aspect of it. Is it safe? Do you feel good in there? These are all things you need to work on. But the main thing is just having somewhere to sleep. And then once you get that in check, what you need to get in check is that you feel good in your space and you feel safe, you know. Sleep. For me personally, this is where I lack a lot. I drink a lot of Monsters. So my sleep, I still sleep 8 hours. It's just my sleep schedule can get out of whack. And sometimes because of that, like, I'll be up at weird hours, or sometimes like I'll have to sleep like 2 or 3 hours to get my schedule right. So first and foremost, do you sleep 8 hours every night? At least 7. Do you at least sleep 7 hours every night, right? If yes, then how's your sleep schedule? For me, I know what I need to do is have a set wake up time and a set sleeping time. So if you don't have that and you feel like you could benefit from that, that's something you need to get on, all right? Because the thing is, like, if you don't have a consistent sleep schedule, then the rest of this list, like, is going to be a lot harder. And that's what I'm saying. Like, if level 1 is too difficult, then you need to get level 1 in check before you move on to level 2, level 3, level 4. You know what I mean? Clothing. Do you have clothes? And if yes, do you have enough clothes, right? For me, I have clothes, and I could always use more because I work out a lot. So, yeah, if you have clothes, but you don't have enough clothes, get some more clothes. Make sure you feel good in your clothes, and make sure they're functional for what you're doing. If you work out a lot like me, make sure you have workout clothes, you know, make sure you're not like working out in jeans and stuff like that. Reproduction, right? I'm taking this to mean as like, are you fertile? Me personally, I am fertile. I got that tested. And you may surprise yourself. If you don't take care of yourself, you may actually not be. So definitely look into this reproduction. I don't think it means sex life, as in like how often you do it, because that's level 3 intimacy, and we're gonna get into that in a little bit. But reproduction, are you fertile? I am. I don't have to worry about that. So let's move on. Level 2, right? Okay, so you got your air, you're breathing clean air, you're drinking clean water, you have good food, you have a shelter, you have a place to sleep, you feel safe there, you have clothing, you have enough clothing, you are fertile, you can reproduce, you can have a bloodline, right? Now level 2, this is what comes after you get all of that in check, right? So if any of that is out of whack for you, you need to get that in check before you even think about level 2, right? Level 2, first and foremost, safety needs. Are you safe, right? If you live in a bad neighborhood, you need to get out of there, you know? I also take this to mean as in like how safe you are in your day-to-day life, you know, when you go to the store or whatever. Do you live in a safe area? I'm also taking this to mean like how competent are you at defending yourself, right? If you're a girl, do you have pepper spray on you, mace, stuff like that? If you're a guy, me personally, I know kickboxing, right? So I feel confident in defending myself. But I know I could improve that if I got a knife or a gun. I live in Texas, so that's normal. If you guys live in Europe or one of these countries that don't allow guns, then know how to fight. You know, like learn kickboxing, learn boxing, learn anything really. Just or carry pepper spray, you know, just something to defend yourself that you can have in your pocket and you can feel safe should anything happen, right? Because even just having that, right? I used to have a knife and I lost it. Even just having that with you, you feel a lot safer just walking around, living your life. You feel a lot safer. So, yeah, safety needs, that's a big one. Employment. Do you have a job? Do you have income, right? Me personally, I have a job and I know I can improve that by being better at my job and having more job security, right? It's not just about having a job, it's about having job security. Like, because you can have a job, but like if you feel like you're gonna lose your job, if you feel like it's not safe, if you feel like, you know, you may get fired or something like that, then you need to do better, basically. Like, you need to have more job security, right? So that's something that you can work on for sure. And that actually goes back to the sleep schedule. Like, if your sleep schedule is inconsistent, that can fuck with your job, you know? So if you have a good sleep schedule, then you can have a good job and you can do good at your job, right? Resources. Basically, do you have money? Do you have money? This could also mean like, do you have a backyard with trees and vegetables and fruits growing and stuff like that? Do you have chickens that lay eggs? Do you have cows maybe that produce milk? Like, it could mean all the way up to that. But if you guys don't live like in a farm or something, then it literally just means money. Do you have money, right? So you can have money with your job, but you can always improve on that by having more sources of income, stuff like that. So, yeah. Or if you're dependent, becoming independent, that's a huge one. Health, me personally, I'm in perfect health. If you're not in perfect health, then you need to get this in check. This is level 2, right? So we're out of 5 levels, this is level 2, right? So if you're not in good health, then you need to get your food in check, which is level 1, and you also need to work out. You know, you need to go to the gym. Property. Do you have things? Basically, right? Like, um, I have my phone. I have some books here. You know, I have like. Do you have things? You know, like you're not just like a wandering monk, basically. Me personally, I do have things, and the only way I can improve this is by getting more things, I guess. You know, like buying a house, um, buying cars, stuff like that. But mostly everyone watching this video, especially if you live in a first world country, should have property in check, you know. And then obviously the way to improve this by improving resources, which is improved by employment, which is improved by sleep. Like it all ties into each other, you know. All right, so that's it for level 2, right? We've covered a lot, all right? Because if you've got everything in check, then that means that you're perfectly healthy. You have like a really good lifestyle. You have clothes, so you're healthy, so you look good as well. You have a job. You have money, right? Like we've covered a lot of things, right? So now level 3 is friendship. Do you have friends? Do you have close friends, people that you can talk to about things, you know, people that you can just hang out with? Me personally, I have friends, but my very close friends, I don't see them very often just because they moved to different areas, right? So the really close friends that I have, I see them approximately once a year, and ideally I would see them like once a week, you know, maybe twice a week, right? Um, and this can always be improved by making more friends, maybe moving closer to your friends. Um, yeah, improving your communication skills, stuff like that. Yeah, socializing more. Intimacy, right? Do you have a partner that you can be intimate with? Okay, because keep in mind, after every single thing that we've covered, like getting a partner should be like should be pretty easy, okay? At this point, you're a good looking guy with money, okay? Like, come on, right? So, intimacy, do you have a partner? Do you have someone to be intimate with, right? Because, I mean, even just like someone to give you hugs, man, you know? Family, how's your relationship with your family? With your siblings, with your parents, grandparents, nephews, nieces, everything. Make sure your relationships with your family are good. If you have kids, make sure you're taking care of them, right? Make sure your relationship with them is good. And again, this just comes back to communication skills, but also like being willing to work through things, being willing to work through problems. This is a big one, right? A lot of people have family issues, and then that creates a lot of problems in other areas of their life. So getting family in check is huge, right? And then lastly, sense of connection, right? Keep in mind, human beings didn't used to live like how we live now, like in houses and neighborhoods and stuff like that. We used to live like in villages where like you would not stay inside your house at all. Your house was mainly just to sleep and cook, and you'd spend the rest of your day outside socializing with other villagers, socializing with like other people in your city. Like you barely spend any time inside, really. So sense of connection is something that's only very recently been lost. So how do you feel? Do you feel connected to the world? Do you feel connected to your friends, to your family? This is something that's really big because this basically this plays a huge role in your lifespan. If you read about like the longest living populations in the world, all of them are like communities. None of them are like just single people, they're all communities. Like nuns living together, hanging out every day. Villagers hanging out with each other every day, right? This sense of connection. You could always improve it by being involved in events, activities. You could plan things. Maybe have some parties. Obviously, don't go overboard with it. But just having parties, having friends, having people that you feel connected to, right? People that you socialize with every day, feeling good with your coworkers, all of that. Okay? So at this point, you're healthy, you have a shelter. What else? You have a shelter, you have a job, you have money, and you have friendship. You have people around you. Okay? So right now you're living like a really good life. Okay? Level 4, respect. Let me see. Yeah, level 4 is esteem. Okay? So, respect. Are you respected among the people around you, right? Now you have all these people around you. Do they respect you, right? And if not, then how can you make them respect you, okay? Usually this is just through like being good at your job, being a good person, having more accomplishments, having more knowledge, you know? If you feel like you don't have that many accomplishments, then that means you need to do more. If you feel like you don't have that much knowledge, that means you need to read more. But in general, respect, I don't think this should be that much of an issue. Unless you're like a bad person, in which case, like, or not a bad person, but like a flawed person, right? Which is everyone. So, in that case, you can improve that by just working on your flaws, you know? People respect that. Self esteem. How do you think about yourself? Right? So, self esteem, me personally, I have good self esteem, but it wavers for everybody, you know? So, if you don't have good self esteem, I think self esteem should come pretty naturally at this point, especially if you look good, you feel good, you have money, you have a girlfriend, you have like everything that we've covered, you know? So, I think self esteem should come pretty naturally at this point. I don't see how it couldn't. But if for some reason it's not there yet, then I think it needs to be there through, again, accomplishments, maybe becoming more athletic, maybe making even more money, um, maybe you're reading more so you can have more knowledge. I think that's where self-esteem comes from. Also, like having a strong sense of identity, I think that's also where self-esteem will come from. And we're actually going to get into that into status. Like, what is your status, right? Um, and okay, so for example, right? Uh, I'm a personal trainer. Okay, so that's my status is personal trainer. Okay, that's like normal status. That's not like way up here, but that's also not like down here. That's like in the middle. That's normal. You know. Um, and then I can also put other labels onto my status, like kickboxer, YouTuber, whatever. And again, this is normal, right? And the only way to improve this, right, is to get better at those things, right? So in terms of being a personal trainer, how do I improve my status in that? Is, well, I can be an online trainer. Okay, I can be a celebrity trainer. Okay, as far as a YouTuber, I can just get more views, get more subscribers, make better videos, right? As far as a kickboxer, it's like I can be undefeated, I can win titles, I can have fights, right? Like I can get better at kickboxing. These are all things that like you can do, right? But the thing is, this all comes from a sense of identity. Like you can't see yourself as like, oh, I'm just a guy that kickboxes. No, you're a kickboxer. Okay, you can't see yourself as like, oh, I'm just a guy that does YouTube. No, you're a YouTuber. Okay, you like you need to identify with these things because they will guide you as to like what you need to work on, what you need to improve. If you don't have anything guiding you, if you don't have any, like, it's a very new age thing to be anti-labels, to not want to label anything. And the thing is, when you don't have any labels, when you don't have anything on your identity, when you have zero identity, then basically, one, you're very wishy-washy. Okay, like you can be very swayed by opinion very easily. Okay, you're not solid, you're liquid. Okay, like you're not a rock. Okay, that's the first thing. And secondly, yeah, when you don't have an identity, then you really don't have a guiding light. Okay, so when depression strikes, you don't have something to look to. Okay, like for me, if I get depressed, then okay, I'm an athlete, I'm a kickboxer, I'm a bodybuilder, whatever. So I just get my ass in the gym, you know? I get to working on the things that I love, right? Even if it's slow, even if I don't want to do it, that's just what I do because that's my guiding light. And 100% of the time, I feel better after doing that, you know? So it's like, you need to look at the things, you need to look at your identity as your North Star because that is what's going to guide you not only out of depression but also into like the higher areas of your life. Okay, so for example, let's say your dream let's say your dream is to have a cottage in the woods, right? That's a tough one. No, it's not. Let's say your dream is to have a cottage in the woods. Then okay, you need money for that, right? So you need an identity to make that money. Okay, then you need a career to make that money, and your identity revolves around your career. And then eventually you shift out of your career into your new life, which is living in that cottage in the woods. And then that becomes your new identity. Is like now you're like a guy that's like into survival, into cottage core, whatever, right? So that's just one example. But again, it's a guiding light. Recognition. Do you get the recognition that you deserve? Okay, so now at this point in your life, you've already done a lot of things. You already have a career. you have accomplishments, probably, like you have a lot of things under your belt. Do you get recognized for that? Do the people in your life recognize you? Does the public recognize you? This is huge because the recognition keeps you going, you know? Like, so for me personally, I get I get some good YouTube comments, you know, but I could, like, in YouTube you could always have more subscribers, you could always have more views. It's never ending, right? So recognition, this is something that keeps going and going and going, you know? Like Carl Jung, he spent the majority of his life working basically not in isolation, but not concerned with the public. And it was towards the end of his life that he wanted to sort of make his work more mainstream. He wanted to dumb it down a little bit for the masses. So this is something that, like, as monk-like as you want to be, as much as you want to be, like, how do you say, as much as you would like to tell yourself, like, oh, I don't need to be recognized for the things that I do. Like, you do, you really do. And that's gonna feed your self-esteem. That's gonna feed your respect that you get. That's gonna feed everything. Okay. Because again, you should be recognized for your life's work. You know, like, why shouldn't you? Strength. Are you strong? Do you consider yourself to be strong, right? This can be physically, mentally, and emotionally. Okay? And this is usually going to be shaped by the events in your life and also the work that you do. So for example, if you go to the gym, then you're strong physically. You know, if you've gone through a lot of stuff in your life, then you're strong emotionally and mentally, right? If you do a lot of if you're very religious, right, very spiritual, then you're very strong spiritually, you know? So working on how strong you are, that's great, you know? I'm actually surprised that it's so high up in level 4, because I think that should be like a level 2, level 3 type of thing. But you should definitely work on your strength. But I guess it makes sense. Like, you should get everything else in check before you even worry about how strong you are. So I can see that for sure. Freedom. Are you free? And I can take freedom to be financially free, location freedom, as in, like, you can live anywhere, and time freedom, which is you can do whatever you want with your time, right? That's like the 3 types of freedom that I see. A lot of that really does relate to money, and it really does relate to, like, if you can have an online income, right? Which goes back to level 2, you know, which is like, okay, you have a job, do you have online income? You know, do you have other sources of income? You know, because again, that'll feed into property, that'll feed into everything, right? Like I said, it's all interconnected, right? So the lower ones that you get, the more of them that you're checking off the list, like, the higher ones, like level 3, level 4, level 5, that they're going to be checked off automatically, you know? Like, for example, if you're level 2, if you're worried solely about, like, your finances and your health, then you might even get a girlfriend without even having to worry about it, you know? So yeah, a lot of these higher ones get checked off automatically. So yeah, freedom is the last one, level 4. And level 5 is just self-actualization. So think about, at this point, you have, like, a complete life. You've had life experiences, you know. Not only do you have all of your needs met, but you're also recognized for your work. You make a lot of money. You know, you have a lot of status, recognition. You're a strong person. You think well of yourself. You're well respected. Like, at this point, all that there is to do is to self-actualize, which is completing your life's purpose in your life's work, right? Whatever that may be for you, you know. And I cannot decide that for you. That's something that's probably going to reveal itself with time. Okay, as you, like we said, as you check off the lower ones, the higher ones will start getting checked off automatically. You'll probably realize your life's purpose somewhere along the way. You know, as you're making money, as you're getting status, as you're improving your self-esteem, you know, as you're having a better relationship with your family, you know. So that's everything. I wanted to cover this with you because, again, you may be on level 4, you know, trying to get recognition, trying to get status, self-esteem, but you may not even have good air quality, dude. You may not even have like consistent food. You know what I mean? Like, you may not even be safe, like in your place of living. You know what I mean? So knock these off one by one. Um, I'll put a document, I'll put a picture, and I'll put a document in the description for you guys to reference. It may even be like a little worksheet you can do. I don't know. But yeah, you guys need to work on this. Okay? Because it surprised me. Like, I had a few level 1 things that I was like, whoa, I didn't even realize that I need to get that in check. You know, I'm trying to do these level 2, level 3, level 4, but level 1's not even complete. Like, come on, you know? So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like. I hope it was useful for you. Give me a comment to let me know what you think. And subscribe and watch all of my videos front to back in their entirety. Put them on repeat in the background. You know, just watch them nonstop, honestly. I know I'm your favorite YouTuber, so just admit it, right? Just embrace it and watch all of my videos. Okay, I'll see you later. Bye-bye.